All right, so chapter 5 of Cherokee Women. Chapter 5 is Changing Ways of Life. And in this chapter, we saw pretty much the same motives from the Europeans, trying to come in and control indigenous lives that we've seen in the past chapters, and that these changes ultimately threaten the matriarchy and like the stability of um, society of these indigenous cultures. So, and Jefferson and America really wanted to sort of civilize. There's a thing called the civilization attempt or act or something, and and this means just bringing like stability and like kind of centralizing some of these villages. So women saw the civilization women saw civilization as bringing improvement but not profound change. Crops, tools, and all that expanded with increased contact with Europeans, but farming largely remained a woman's work in their culture, and that was something that the Europeans still just were rubbed like wrong by. They just couldn't fathom it. Um, Jefferson or America sought to encourage natives to settle in areas and focus on farming instead of hunting grounds. Example of that 20-year-old young man they said in the book who applied for a job, and he wanted to clothe and feed himself by hunting, but they instead put him on a farm, which he didn't feel like suited him well, obviously. Indian men were skeptical of the civilization plan because they just thought it was another attempt from the Europeans to extend their outreach and control over them, which it pretty much was. Um, and ultimately, they make them sign treaties, which diminishes the value of their hunting lands and makes them dependent on livestock instead of game. This leads to horse stealing. They said it was just bizarre to watch natives just shoot their livestock like 2 feet away, like basically like they're hunting them, but it's just not a challenge anymore. They'd release their livestock sometimes, and all this crazy animal husbandry kind of led them to not have access to milk, cheese, and butter. And then there's the question of the slave economy, right? So eventually, Cherokees partake in the slave economy and they start buying slaves and using them for agriculture as well. And the book even suggests some of them started to develop the same racial prejudices that some Southern Americans had. Um, oh, yes. And then lastly, I put there's a large increase in textiles. Basically, the his chapters about Europeans like trying to domesticate the natives, and that's just kind of how I saw it. And they're making them dependent on this market economy that they have no place in, and that they're trying to find a place in, but they're trying to find a place in because they have no other choice. There's no other. They're signing treaties. They're losing their land. They're losing their ability to be independent, and slowly becoming dependent on trading, the fur economy, agriculture, producing something for capitalism. So it's interesting. The role of gender and of tradition is threatened here as well as in every other chapter. So, thank you.